Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into a set of sources called Shadows of Trust. And they pull back the curtain on a pretty sophisticated scam. We follow it right from the initial hook, the lure, all the way through to the really chilling aftermath. So yeah, get ready. This is quite a journey into trust and betrayal, psychologically speaking.
It really is. And what's so striking here is this story, it centers on a victim, Abby, and the person behind it, Ghazala Din.
Mm-hmm.
And it just illustrates these classic patterns of financial deception. But like you said, with some very modern twists, we're going to trace the subtle manipulation, how that false hope gets built up, and then, of course, the devastating impact. Plus, there's a bit of a surprising turn near the end about, who might really be pulling the strings.
Okay, so let's start with Abby. She seems cautious, right? But she still gets drawn in by Ghazala Din's voice. Our source actually calls it smooth, confident, and reassuring. Sounds compelling. Ghazala's promising safe, consistent growth, and she's offering proof, screenshots, things like that. How does that kind of hypnotic certainty, as the source puts it, manage to override Abby's own instincts?
Well, it's that immediate trust, isn't it? It built on just a confident voice and some, well, fabricated proof. It plays right into things like authority bias. We tend to believe someone who sounds certain. And confirmation bias, too. Ghazala is basically selling this idea of security. And it gets reinforced, crucially, by those initial payouts. The golden months, they call them. That's classic positive reinforcement you see in like a Ponzi-style setup.
Right, those early payouts really cemented things for Abby, made it seem real. And then Ghazala pushes for bigger investments, naturally. Then comes this clever twist, a group chat. Other investors are in there, too. Everyone's sharing excitement, feeling like they're part of something successful. How important was that communal aspect, that validation?
Oh, hugely important. That's textbook affinity fraud, really,
Mhm.
leveraging social proof. The group basically becomes an echo chamber. It amplifies all the good news, suppresses any doubt, and it's like herd mentality. But then, the source mentions, cracks appear around September 2023. Payments get delayed, excuses start, glitches, technical issues, and for the first time, Ghazala's voice apparently had this tiny crack beneath the smooth veneer.
Yeah, and then things just spiral downwards fast. Days become weeks. Ghazala's excuses get more elaborate, blocked accounts, audits, you name it. Abby's messages get sharper, more desperate, I imagine. But Ghazala, she gets defensive, even accusatory. And then the final betrayal, promises to call, maybe sort it out, and then just silence. No replies, the group chat vanishes, Ghazala's phone number, dead. Abby's savings, her trust just gone.
That's silence. It's such a devastating psychological blow. It's the perpetrator's final act of control, isn't it? Just leaving the victim completely adrift. But what Abby does next is, frankly, quite remarkable. Instead of just despair, she channels that anger, turns it into action. It starts with just one message to everyone who invested with Ghazala Din.
Mm.
And that right there, that's the crucial shift. From being an isolated victim to kickstarting collective action.
Wow. So that one post actually worked. It brought people together.
It really did. Ignited something. Dozens of other victims surfaced, apparently. They formed their own private group. And then they started meticulously piecing together Ghazala's web of lies, sharing screenshots, voice notes, contracts. It became this kind of crowdsourced digital detective operation. They literally hunted her, tracking down fragments from old leases, even Instagram photos. And it all led to, of all things, a hair appointment booking in Manchester.
Incredible. So they actually tracked her down to a salon.
Exactly. The confrontation in Manchester, the source describes it vividly, a real turning point. But maybe the most chilling part came later, during her police interrogation. Ghazala, facing charges for maybe £500,000 from 34 victims, just calmly says, "You have no idea who I work for."
Yeah. That just changes everything, doesn't it? This wasn't just one person acting alone.
No, exactly. That line, "You have no idea who I work for," it completely reframes the whole story.
It suggests Ghazala Din isn't some lone wolf scammer. She's, well, maybe just an operative, part of something much bigger, much more organized, and the money vanished into what they call a labyrinth of offshore accounts. That shows you the real challenge here.
Mhm.
This isn't just about individual deceit anymore. It feels like organized crime, which must make justice feel, well, pretty hollow for Abby and the others, especially when they got that final terrifying message. You think it's over, it's just beginning.
Yeah. And if you look at the bigger picture, Abby's whole journey, from being isolated to becoming an advocate, it really underscores how vital collective action is, especially against large-scale fraud. But it leaves you with this really difficult question, doesn't it? When the money disappears offshore like that, and the person they catch just hints at unseen puppet masters, can justice ever really be fully served? Or are we just seeing, the tip of a much, much larger iceberg.
So, reflecting on this deep dive into shadows of trust, what does it all mean for you listening? I think it's a powerful reminder that these shadows of trust, they can run much deeper than we think. Even when one piece of the scam comes to light, like Ghazala's arrest, the true cost, the full scope, it might still be hidden. So, what steps can you maybe take to guard against these really sophisticated psychological traps, these financial traps? And maybe how does our fight against these kinds of shadows, these complex networks, need to evolve? Something to think about, I suppose, as you navigate a world where sometimes a persuasive voice and a promise of easy money can hide a much, much darker reality.